So long story short, I was hijacked at gunpoint. You know, even the trainers off my feet were taken. I was punched in the face. I had a strange man on top of me, searching me, all of that, you know, with rope in his hand. So I thought I was going to die.
You can find there's two types of travelers, right? I've always wanted to travel the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they tend to kind of travel at 19, 20 kind of thing, right? And then there's the I'm running away from life travelers. Which category do you kind of fall into in that sense?
Wow. Okay. A lot of reflection has to reveal this. So at the time, I don't think I was as consciously aware of some of my motivations. It's a combination. So life positioned it so that things, you know, like remove themselves. So I had stability at one point. All the things that, you know, for our age group and everything, this is success. You got this, you got that, you got your good job, you got your place, you got a relationship, blah, blah, blah. It's not like I wasn't traveling, I was going on holidays. And then when these things, one by one, because let's say one would go and I'm like, cool, I don't need to make a move because I still got X, Y, and Z. Next one falls away, next one. And then the last thing that seemed like it would not go anywhere, which was even where I was living, like it went up for sale and I was like, okay, time to make a move. So then the circumstances surrounding it practically just seemed like it was an okay thing to do. But in order for me to actually go on the journey, I had to set myself back up again, but only with a temporary mindset, knowing that this is not forever. I have to make a move, a big move. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I like to stress to people, because when I have conversations, because I literally have traveled the world, I've gone from one side to the other, and in a way it's not even finished, but you know, I have to cross that. And people say to me, well, how could you do that? I couldn't do that. I've got a man, I've got this, I've got that. But that's self-love in itself, because if you have something within you, a desire, then who are you? Because I believe that desires are not just random. They're given to us. They're connected in my belief system to the divine. So if I have a desire, I can't just be like, snip that out, forget that. Because it's not going to remove itself. It will come back to you. So you need to deal with it, you know, in the way that you can, when you can. So, you know, I had all that stability again, set up, and I could have just carried on in that stability, but I had to follow that. Does that answer your question?
So life kind of happened, and conveniently it was like, okay, I have no attachments right now, so I can go traveling. But in reality, on reflection, you're like, there are things you were escaping, so to say.
Yeah, I can touch upon that. Like, if you really, okay, I guess you do want me to go there.
Oh, if you're willing, yeah.
No, that's fine. So, yeah, because I think my thing now is owning parts of my story so that they do not, you know, grip me in any way. So I would say that at a certain point, as I said, it was only reflection that revealed it, because I wouldn't go around saying this at the point, because that wasn't my truth. I didn't connect with the truth. But yeah, I'm going around the houses now. So that's basically, in terms of relationships, right? This is going to make me sound so cray, but okay. So if I am not still and fixed in one place, when I'm living that whole, I'd rather catch flights than feelings. You know what I mean? So that solitude that I spoke about before, as I said, it's prevention for me, because at that moment I didn't have all of this grounding that I have within myself. I was vulnerable out here, like, you know what I mean? I had to do that. So that's the thing about coping mechanisms, okay? So they serve a purpose at a time. They don't need to go everywhere you go. And at the moment, for me, I'm kind of stripping back with a lot of the things that I've been carrying around for a lifetime as survival, you know? But if you're no longer in those circumstances, then those things become redundant. So at that point, when I booked that round the world trip, it was what I needed to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I own it.
So in terms of traveling, the greatest cliche ever is essentially you learn so much about life through traveling, cultures, just and also yourself. So kind of what lessons have you taken, or were there any kind of situations or experiences that kind of taught you things during your journey?
So many. I'm going to go the recent ones. So in Australia, I have made amazing connections with beautiful people, which taught me, for example, because self-love is a lot about independence and not looking outward. But then there is that balance of when it is time on your journey as an individual to ask for help, to take help, then if you don't act on that fact that it is that time, then you're doing yourself a disservice, and everything about self-love is giving yourself the best. Okay, so shout out to those people, but that's taught me that sometimes you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable to other people in that sense. You can lean on other people. It doesn't mean that you don't love yourself. So when you go on this self-love, in a way, some of it's not even accurate. You're thinking that you carry around about your self-love. So yeah, that's one thing. Other things are identity, who you are. Traveling around the world in different environments to different people, you're one thing. Even the terminology placed upon you as a person, it can differ in different environments. So then what happens is, for me, is you're not going to allow anyone else to define you any longer because it's not stable. The only thing that's stable is how you hold yourself. So I talk about these concepts of being home within yourself, because no matter where you place me as a person, I have to have certain things because external can't knock me off anymore. And I'm in my head now, I'm like, what can bother me? I've traveled the world. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, I've told you about the South Africa thing, and
Actually haven't told me about the South Africa thing.
Oh yeah, this is good. Yeah, I just say it so
okay.
easily now.
Is it something you can talk about?
Oh
or?
yeah,
Okay.
now I can, and this is what I say to people: don't confuse the fact that it's easy for me to say it now without getting emotional. That, you know, it wasn't a thing, because it was a thing. You know, it threw me off who I was, and so long story short, I was hijacked at gunpoint. You know, even the trainers off my feet were taken. I was punched in the face. I had a strange man on top of me, searching me, all of that, you know, with rope in his hand. So I thought I was going to die. And, you know, all these other things that was going through my head. I'm a positive person, but that positivity was nowhere to be found in the back of that minivan that I was in. I was traveling from Swaziland to South Africa. And yeah, the self-love part comes into it, aftermath. So after I went through something like that, okay, I couldn't even leave my room like for a day or so. And then the building that I was staying in, there was a comedy show in the same building. So me and my friend who I was with, we decided, okay, we're going to have to go outside. We need to eat some food outside. Let's go. So we go to this comedy show as well. And I'm a person who, you know, I've got a certain level of ability to speak and be present. You know, I do performance poetry. So I'm normally on a stage. I'm normally comfortable to share who I am on a stage. I am telling you that at that moment, I was uncomfortable sitting in a crowd. You understand the things that was going through my head? And then I had to leave early. Like, imagine. So when I've left, I was just broken, because I'm like, hold on a minute. You took my trainers, I can deal with that. But now you've took who I am. You've taken my confidence. You've taken my ability to own my space and use my voice. Because right about now, I'm thinking, how am I going to do my thing again when I can't even sit in an audience? I've lost me. So then the realization was, lost me. But I thought you didn't have yourself. I thought you didn't know yourself. I thought you were on this journey. It's not that I didn't know myself. It's because you spoke about it before, I hadn't accepted myself. I hadn't claimed the fact that I am someone who can take a stage, that I am someone who can perform, I am someone that can share, and I am someone that has confidence. I hadn't taken ownership of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of just changed up my thinking.
So like an experience like that, that's interesting, because like just hearing it in short, I can kind of extrapolate the details.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a traumatic event like that, it's interesting that you were able to psychologically turn it around so quick. Well, I'm saying so quickly, I don't know the time frame, but
days, like 2 days. Like
okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So that is rapid because
Mm.
anxiety is a very understandable response to that situation.
Panic
Because
attacks. Never had them before.
Mm.
It was happening. Waking up out of my sleep, just making these noises that I've never even made before. Like, you know, this anguish, this shock, and it was just pouring out over like a 2-day period. But when that happened, I was like, okay, this is just here to teach me. So let it teach me. I'm out of it. I'm not dead. I'm not no longer in any physical danger. So allow it to teach me.
That's also interesting because the other side of that coin as well is, were you and your friend traveling, just the two of you?
Yeah.
So you're outside of your support system. I mean, I'm guessing you and your friend have a very close bond, but in some ways you are a little bit isolated. Yet you turned it around to something so positive so quickly. Like I'm generally a positive person, and I don't think I would have turned that around as quickly as you did. So what is it that you think? Why is it you think you were able to do that, or to just really shift your mindset, or?
Because even at that point, I wasn't even heavily into affirmations, meditation, yoga, all of that stuff. It wasn't even really. No, I hadn't even touched on some of it because I hadn't got to Asia yet, which is where I kind of started some of those practices. I think it's just I'm in tune. I've not got this veil over myself, which I had like years ago, of just going with the motions, living life. I don't want to use this term, but this woke business. Okay, be woke to what's happening, but be woke to what is happening inside of yourself, because there is no use in knowing about all these community things that have happened in the past if you do not have a grip on your own reality, because you can positively affect others if you have taken ownership on the journey within the bigger journey. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure I can articulate it, but
no, that's amazing. Well, we're thankful that you're okay, for one, because I've heard about incidents in Africa, they go south, and so, and you lost your shoes. You got some new shoes, I can see.
Yeah.
You lost your shoes, but you found yourself.
Yeah, for real. Reminded who I am, I would say. Yeah.